Hi, this is Eric, and welcome to Math from the Gut. Today, we are going to take the mystery out of pi. And we are going to do it by starting with the easiest problem in math. And here to introduce us to that problem is our friend Mac, the mathematical mouse. Now, as you can probably tell, Mac is pretty shy. He spends about 99% of his time hidden up behind a hole in the wall. But oh, the trouble he gets into during that other 1%. You see, Mac has a fatal attraction for cheese. And the reason that attraction is so dangerous to him is that Kruger, the family cat, is always lurking behind every corner in the house. Or at least it seems that way to Mac. So it's not enough for Mac just to scamper out of his hole in the wall and get the cheese. No, he's got to get back to that hole in the wall as fast as he can, or else risk becoming dinner himself. Okay, so for Mac's first challenge, he finds that there's a piece of cheese that's 1 foot away from his hole in the wall. But no, it's not enough just to get that cheese. No, he has to get that cheese and bring it back to safety. So the thing that Mac needs to know is he needs to know what his round trip distance is to get the cheese and to bring it back. So what I'd like you to do here is to hit the pause button and think about this for a moment. It's time to pause and ponder. Okay, hopefully you noticed that Mac had to run 1 foot to get the cheese and another foot to get back to safety, for a total of 1 + 1 or 2 feet. I told you this was the easiest problem. Another way to look at it is that Mac had to run 1 foot 2 different times, or 1 times 2 feet. Either way, Mac is having to run 2 feet for the round trip. Now, I want to make an observation here. When I gave you this problem, you probably didn't cry out, "Eric, it's so unfair! You never show me how to do this! Where's the formula?" It probably didn't go down like that, at least I hope. What probably happened is that you literally put 1 + 1 together and you got the answer. And that's how we're going to do all of our math here, from the gut, in a way that you feel confident about it as you're doing it. Now, you may also be wondering, what's all this 1 + 1 stuff about? I'm not in kindergarten anymore. Okay, well, there's a very important reason I'm doing it like this. You see, I find I'm going to be introducing some new ideas really soon. And I find that if you introduce those ideas with really simple examples, that they're much easier to learn. And then they'll be much easier to understand when things get dicier. And don't worry, I'm going to have Mac running around in circles in no time. So things are getting a little dicier right now for Mac, because he now finds that his one-way distance is doubled to 2 feet. And he has the same question as before. He wants to know what his new round-trip distance is to get the cheese and get back to safety. So it's time to pause and ponder again. Okay, what I'm hoping that you noticed is that Mac had to scamper 2 feet to get the cheese and another 2 feet to get back to safety, for a total of 2 + 2 feet. You may also have noticed that Mac had to run 2 feet 2 different times, for a total of 2 times 2 feet. Either way, the poor little guy had to run 4 feet to get the cheese and get back to safety. Now, I want to compare this with the first example where the one-way distance is 1 foot. You'll notice that the one-way distance is doubled. It's doubled from 1 foot the first time to 2 feet this time. And when the one-way distance doubles, all of the distances that are related to it also double. So in this case, the round trip distance also doubles. And you can see that's true because the round trip distance has gone from 2 feet to 2 times 2, or 4 feet. Now the other thing I want you to notice is that his one-way distance has increased by 1 foot, from 1 foot to 1 plus 1, or 2 feet. Now let's picture what that extra foot means to Mac. No, it's not enough that he just has to run that extra foot to the cheese. He's got to run that extra foot back also. So what that 1 extra foot means to Mac is that he has to run 2 extra feet of round trip distance. So for every additional 1 foot of one-way distance, Mac has an extra 2 feet of round trip distance. And we can see that this also works because the round trip distance is increased by 2 feet, from 2 feet to 2 plus 2, or to 4 feet. So overall, the lengths have doubled, both lengths, the one-way and the round trip distances have both doubled compared to the first case. And when we add 1 foot to the one-way distance, we add an additional 2 feet to the round trip distance. And this is true because the one-way and the round-trip distances are proportional to each other. What does proportional mean? Okay, proportional just means that they go up together. When one of the distances goes up, the other distance goes up right along with it. And they go up together in a special way. You see, the round-trip distance goes up twice as quickly as the one-way distance. That's why I say that they have a proportionality constant of 2, because the round-trip distance is equal to the one-way distance times 2. This is the special proportionality constant that relates the one-way distance to the round-trip distance. So I want you to think about that for a little bit, okay? Mac is now ready for his third challenge. And you guessed it, he now has to run 3 feet to get the cheese, and of course another 3 feet to get back. And just like before, Mac wants to know what his new round trip distance is. Okay, I want you to do more than just this. I want you to compare this case with the first case, the 1 foot case, and I also want you to compare this case with the 2 foot case. And it's okay to go back and listen to what I just said when I was comparing the 1 foot case with the 2 foot case. So I want you to do something very similar when you compare this case with the first and second cases. Now I know it's really tempting when I say pause and ponder just to blow by and not pause. This is an important one, guys. I want you to hit the pause button. I want you to think about this. Very important that you get these concepts. So I really want you to pause and ponder and try to answer all of those questions. Welcome back. I'm hoping that you thought a good long time about this. Keep in mind that usually your best learning is going to occur when you're thinking about this stuff for yourself, not when you're listening to me or somebody else talking about it. Okay, so I'm hoping that you noticed that Mac had to run 3 feet to get the cheese and another 3 feet to get away from Kruger and get back to his hole in the wall, for a total of 3 plus 3 feet. And you may also have noticed that just kind of like before, he has to run 3 feet 2 different times, or 3 times 2 feet. Either way, the poor guy is now having to run a total of 6 feet to get the cheese and get back to safety. Alright, now to compare with the first case, the thing that I noticed is that his one-way distance is tripling from 1 foot to 3 feet. And guess what? You may have already figured it out, but when the one-way distance triples, all of the distances related to it also triple. So that means that the round trip distance, which is related to it, also triples. In this case, from 2 feet to 2 times 3, or to 6 feet. Okay, now comparing to the second case, the thing that I noticed, you may have seen something different, but the thing that I noticed is that the one-way distance increased by a foot from 2 feet to 3 feet. And remember, just like before, whenever the one-way distance increases by a foot, poor Mac has to run an extra 2 feet of round-trip distance. So we increase the one-way distance by a foot, and the round-trip distance is increasing by 2 feet from 4 feet to 4 plus 2, or to 6 feet. So to summarize, the lengths triple when we compare with the first case, both the one-way and the round-trip lengths. And when we compare to the second case, when we add a foot to the one-way distance, we're adding 2 feet to the round-trip distance. So congratulations, you made it! You got through the first part of this video. And now you're ready to go on to the second part where Mac is going to start running in circles. To continue, select Taking the Mystery Out of Pi, Part 2 of 4, from the Math from the Gut video link, which is usually located above the video display and to the left.